Hey everybody, this is GGB, co-host Poppers. We're coming into this fourth quarter of action, and they had made it a 6-point ball game before the Big Ten just went on the longest drive I've seen in a long time. 96-yard drive. They got the touchdown, they got the 2-point conversion, and this offense needs to produce. In the third quarter, I gotta say at the end of the third quarter, they had two chances. Rashad Penny's got to return this back. We'll talk about it later. They get to the 26-yard line. But yeah, they had two chances. They had the ball twice, and they were down by only 6 points. They could have taken the lead. And you know what they did? They had excellent field position, too. And on 3rd and 1, they had 3rd and 21 twice, and neither time they ran it up the middle with Alexander Madison with a standard formation. Now, they ran it with Alexander Madison the first time, but they didn't try and go under center, and they tried to do a shotgun handoff, and it just did not work. The second time, they went pass, and it was so stupid. It was so stupid, and they didn't get the first down, and they didn't go for it either because I don't know why. The defense has been playing well, but it's still that was bound to not go well at 1.3. Looks like a 3-man rush here. He went empty set. Josh Allen's actually going to scramble out. He's going to get about 7 yards before he slid there. Brings up a 2nd and 4. He only allowed 330 passing yards so far today. For the Big Ten Titans have done a great job through the air. Now on the ground, however, Josh Allen has killed it, and Rashad Penny has done a significant job there in that ground as well. So 2 tight ends set here. They actually go pass. Josh Allen does something. I don't know what he's doing, but he gets sacked regardless by J.J. Watt, bringing up an interesting 3rd and 8. I don't know what the heck that was, and that's not good. You don't want J.J. Watt in the zone. You want the opposite of J.J. Watt in the zone. You want J.J. Watt and not in the zone. Actually, you don't want him in the game. I don't know what the heck was happening there. Josh Allen, run to the left. Run to the outside if you're going to scramble. Not run into the back of J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt already is committed to the inside. If you run to the outside, you can pick up a good amount of yards. But instead, he runs straight into the back of J.J. Watt, who somehow gets the sack. But 3rd and 8, you have to pass it, and you're going to put Charles Leno Jr. one-on-one with on in zone J.J. Watt. And he goes screen here with Alexander Madison. And Alexander Madison's going to pick up this first down off the screen. Ooh, that was close. Look at this. Lavonte David tracking him down the entire time, but Alexander Madison is the one that picks up the first down. Big first down if you're the Mountain West team. You got to score 14 points. You got to complete this 14-point comeback in the fourth quarter. And this drive is crucial to that 14-point comeback. Yeah, it was Lavonte David. Lavonte David was tracking Alexander Madison down that entire time, and it was rather disconcerting for literally everyone watching if you're rooting for the Mountain West team. So it looked like it might be a blitz coming off the edge. J.J. Watt is already lit up, which is scary enough as it is if you're Josh Allen. They bring a little bit of blitz. He fires it to, I believe that was to Alexander Madison. Picks up all next to nothing, 3 yards. So yeah, Alexander Madison hasn't done bad through the air. 4 receptions for 30 yards. But it seemed like they figured it out earlier. It seems like the curls were open. Maybe they schemed around that. They figured out a way to make sure the curls weren't open. If you're the Big Ten defense, maybe they did that. But looks like they've had 3-man rushes this entire drive, and it's rather interesting. They bring a 4th man on the blitz. They just dump it off to Jacob Hollister. It's been interesting because with the 4-man rush, you've been getting after Josh Allen. And sure, Josh Allen was killing you with little curls on the other drive, but outside of that one drive, your defensive line has been getting there. So you drop it to a 3-man defensive line. You hope that bringing the extra man to coverage, but the 4th man was getting there. It's not like the Mountain West where you're not getting there with 4 guys. Why not try one extra guy into coverage? So Josh Allen scrambles out to the left. He has a lot of room. He gets to about I don't know, 8 yards, I'd say, on the play. Yeah, 2nd and 2. Josh Allen's got to worry there. I feel like I'd slide. I mean, you don't want to be tackled by Micah Hyde and then just held up there because that just gives them an opportunity to try to strip you if you're Josh Allen. Just get out of bounds or take the slide, just especially if you don't want to get hurt. I mean, Derek Carr is a good quarterback, but I don't want him coming in at this point in the game. Empty set here for Josh Allen. He gets the snap. They bring a 4-man rush like they used to. He fires it. I think that he was just throwing that ball away since he was under pressure. It's 3rd and 2, and it's interesting there. You're on the Big Ten Titans 44-yard line. I feel like if I don't get this, as long as I don't get sacked, I go for it. But I feel like I run up the middle with Alexander Madison. He doesn't seem to be on the field on this huddle, but the huddles they're confusing. They definitely don't show who's on the field at specific times, but It's 3rd and 2. I run it up the middle with Alexander Madison, but I would go standard here instead of shotgun. But that's just me. I think this might be a pass. It is a pass. He has time. He fires it to an open Rashad Higgins. Rashad Higgins has been pretty big this game as the number 3 receiver. For being the number 3 option, he has had a very solid day. I believe he's had a better day than Davante Adams. Although, I don't know. 3 receptions, 22 yards isn't a great day. I built it up in my head, I guess. But yeah, Michael Gallup's been pretty solid today. All the receivers have been pretty solid. There just has been no standout receiver. It's not like with the Big Ten, you're like, oh, yeah, Michael Thomas and Stephon Diggs are having whales of a game. I mean, they're all having solid games, but they haven't been world-breaking, especially with Davante Adams. I expected it. Shotgun here for Josh Allen. Let's see if it's going to be a run. It's not a run. The screen here with Alexander Madison. There's a lot of room to run. He gets tackled, though, by nice play by Micah Hyde. He was being blocked, but he gets off the block and is able to make the tackle. But 2nd and 3, they've been able to drive down this field rather nicely, but you got to hope your defense does something big. You have to hope they get a stop. And they've gotten stops. They've gotten stops in the recent past. And they've done a great job. They got that pick 6. They almost had the game-tying fumble return for a touchdown, but it was Yan Dianovich was on the ground, I believe. So Josh Allen goes shotgun here. Let's see if they go run with Alexander Madison. They do not. They bring a little bit of blitz. He fires it to Rashad Higgins, who drops the ball. That's not what you want if you're this Mountain West team. Your quarterback's getting them the ball, and they drop it. Rashad Higgins, you need to not do that, man. You know what's interesting? The number 4 receiver hardly ever sees the field. Like, Cortland Sutton is probably the only one I've ever seen the field. But empty set here for Josh Allen, which is interesting. They bring a 6-man rush, and they hole. If you throw it to Alexander Madison there, it is wide the heck open, and you could have easily picked up the first down, but Josh Allen makes the wrong decision. I don't know if you kick the field goal here. It doesn't do much for you. You're already down by 14. What's the field goal going to do? Make it down by 11? It's still a 2-possession game. They do go for the field goal here. It doesn't make any sense to me. But let's see if he makes it an 11-point game. Snap good, kick holds good. The kick is up, and it is good. Straight through the uprights. It's an 11-point ball game. I guess what it does is if they drive down the field and get a field goal, then it's still a 14-point ball game. I feel like I wouldn't have gone that weird passing. I definitely wouldn't have gone empty set on 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. Sean Payton's having a weird game calling it, but he's made it an 11-point ball game with the disparity in talent. That's pretty amazing. It's a good coaching effort by Sean Payton so far today. Raheem Mostert's back there to return. He had a very nice return a little while ago. Got it to the 30-yard line. So off to kick is Jason Sanders. His kick is off. It's going to be at the fringe. It's at the 1-yard line, whatever. They tackle him at about the 24-yard line. And if you're this defense, the offense needs you right now. The offense has been struggling. They really have. Stephon Diggs has been killing it. But you've got to step up. I really do believe that it's time. It really is time. I understand you were huge in the third quarter. You really did. Outside of that, you gave up 8 points in the third quarter. Actually, 11 points, I believe, in the third quarter. But you've been phenomenal here. You've been really good here. But you've got to step up, especially with these 3 players that are in their little superstar X Factors mode. So they go run up the middle here with Saquon Barkley. They're one of their only offensive players that's not in the superstar X Factor mode. So it brings up a 2nd and 9. Nice tackle there, but nice stuff by the Mountain West defense. They've really allowed them to kill it through the air. 376 passing yards. It's really been a lot through the air for the Big Ten, but it's still only a 14-point ball game. An 11-point ball game, I mean. Shotgun here for Tom Brady. I think it's likely going to be a pass. It is a pass. They bring a 3-man rush, which means they can drop extra people, but they throw it to George Kittle, who's wide the heck open and gets that first down. And that's just not something you can allow if you're the Mountain West Saints defense, especially if you bring 3 people on the rush. That means there should be an extra person in coverage. That guy's doing nothing in the middle of the field. I believe in Leighton Vander Esch. I believe Leighton Vander Esch is doing nothing there. That's not helpful. That's not good. But 1st and 10, 35-yard line. You've got to stop them, though, if you're the Mountain West Saints defense. You can't let them get anything on this drive. They go pass here. They bring a little bit of blitz. pressured, but he gets it off to Michael Thomas, I believe. But Michael Thomas is out of his little superstar X Factor mode, so I don't know. At least that's something if you're the Mountain West Saints team. But they're still at the 48-yard line rather quickly. They've got there really in the blink of an eye. And, okay, so they bring a 2 tight end set here. No one is a superstar X Factor except for Tom Brady anymore. It might be a run here. It is a run to Saquon Barkley. Finds a nice little hole. Picks up about 7 yards. Yeah, it's 8 yards on the ground. So, yeah. Man, you got to figure out something here for the Mountain West defense. Your team's down by 11. That's not an inconceivable comeback with 8 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. But you gotta stop them on this drive, dude. Tom Brady goes under center. He's actually gonna go play action here. He has plenty of time. He fires it to a wide the heck open Michael Thomas, I believe. Yeah, it's Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas has really been killing it in this game so far. And Josh Allen's a little bit upset with his team. He should be mad at himself. He missed Alexander Madison on that 3rd and 3, and that really could change the fabric of this game because that could have given you a first down. That could have led to a touchdown, and it could be a much different ball game here if you had done that. Because if they score here, it's an 18-point ball game. I find it difficult to see you coming back from that in 8 minutes. So, Tom Brady goes shotgun here. Let's see if they can stop him. 4-man rush, but he has plenty of time. He fires it to the end zone, and it's just to no one. Man. Defense is hyped up. Is the team on the sidelines hyped up? Derek Carr is standing on the sidelines, which is interesting. Derek Carr's in the game, backup quarterback. But yeah, it's been interesting here early on. You've got to get the stop. You have got to get the stop. If you're the Mountain West Saints, you go under center for Tom Brady. I doubt it's going to be a run. I bet it's going to be a pass with Tom Brady. It looks like a 5-man rush. It looks like it's actually a 4-man rush, and they drop out of it. They fires underneath to Stephon Diggs. He gets just short of the touchdown area, but that's not good if you're the Mountain West Saints because the offensive line's absolutely bullied you down here before. I mean, they bullied you with the Saquon Barkley touchdown. They bullied you with the Ezekiel Elliott touchdown. But they go empty set here, which is interesting considering how well you've run it on the ground here at 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. But they bring a little bit blitz. He has time, but he's pressured, and he has to throw that back to the end zone. And, that's just an easy kind of bailout if you're Tom Brady in this offense. You can just throw it out the back of the end zone every time if you're getting pressure. But I don't know why you just didn't run it there. I mean, your offensive line has been absolutely bullying this team all night. Okay, yeah, they go shotgun again, which is interesting. I understand you think your receivers are your matchup, but you've been bullying them on the offensive line. So they throw it to an open George Kittle. That's going to be a touchdown. How many touchdowns is that now for George Kittle? 3? He has been insanely good this game, and that might just be the dagger in this Mountain West Saints comeback. They've shown great heart, cut it to 6 points in the 3rd quarter. But the offense was unable to get over the hump, and their defense just eventually ran out of steam in stopping them. And yeah, I think it's going to be an 18-point game. They're going to kick this extra point. There's not a big difference between a 17-point ball game and an 18-point goal. I guess there is. You got to get that 2-point conversion, but that might just be the dagger that ends this Mountain West Saints comeback, and that's why I think you should have gone for it. I really do, because then you would be like, okay, if you got it and you got a touchdown, and you'd be like, okay, it would have been a 7-point game. It's a 14-point game. Okay, so we're just down by 14 points. 2-possession game. We can do this, guys. That's why I would have gone for it. I don't know. I feel like Eli, the coach, might have won this game if I was the Mountain West Saints head coach, but who knows? I mean, this team, Sean Payton's got the most out of this team, I think. The problem is, for the Mountain West Saints, they can never quite get over that hump because they will always be around the 8th seed. Especially when the Independents get an actual solid quarterback next year. And they're always going to be in the 8th seed, which means they're going to draw the 1 seed. And the 1 seed coming off rest after they just played a first round game against a tough American team. They're going to play a tough American team every year, most likely. And it's just, it doesn't lead to success if you're the Mountain. Now, technically speaking, you're still in this ballgame. You just got to drive down this field extremely quickly if you're the offense. If you can score with, let's say, 5 minutes remaining on the field, on the clock, and you get the 2-point conversion, it's a 10-point ball game. That's conceivable with 5 minutes left. I probably would go for onsides if I'm going to be honest. But it looks like a 3-man rush here. It is a 3-man rush. Oh, he's gets pressured almost immediately out. 3-man rush. That's not good. That's not good at all. You only have to single team one player if it's a 3-man rush. You can double team 2 different players, which I guess the one person that was single team was the one that actually got out and made that play a havoc. But gosh, it's a 3-man rush. You shouldn't be able to do this. But 4-man rush, shotgun here for Josh Allen. They actually bring a little bit of blitz. He fires it out to a little bit of screen. He has a lot of running room. He gets about 10 yards before getting absolutely clobbered. Brings up a 1st and 10. But you have got to go quickly if you're the Mountain West Saints and you want to come back. You're down 18 points. And there's 6.5 remaining. Time is not your friend. The clock is not your friend. And you've got to drive quickly. You've got to get down this field and score in a blink of an eye, really. So Josh Allen goes shotgun. Looks like a little 4-man rush, but a blitz kind of 4-man rush. They get it out to Alexander Madison. He gets out of bounds. Maybe that'll stop the clock. Brings up a 2nd and inches. The coach adjustments into is strict ball and aggressive for the Big Ten defense. I don't know why you would do that. You're up by 18 points. Why risk doing a little face mask or something like that? And you risk giving him extra yards and time stop. So Josh Allen goes shotgun here. Clock has not stopped apparently. They bring a blitz. He fires it. Oh, that's going to be picked off. That's going to be the end of it. Inaccurate pass by Josh Allen, and Michael Hyde gets the pick, and that's likely going to be it. That's all she wrote for the Mountain West Saints, and they came back. They fought valiantly in the 3rd quarter, but the offense couldn't get over the hump after some very good drives. The defense tried their best, but eventually the offense got the better of them, and the Michael Thomas and Stephon Diggs. Allen Robinson hasn't really been involved since the 1st quarter. George Kittle, and it's just been poor Mountain West. They really fought valiantly to get back in this game. They thought this might be the year. Although next year, they actually might be the year. Josh Allen might have a superstar X-Factor ability. You're not going to get a better receiver than Davante Adams. His overall has got to go down. Under center here for Josh Allen to go handoff. Saquon Barkley cuts to the outside. He has a big hole. He's going to kick it for about 11 yards in the play. Saquon Barkley gets to exactly 100 yards, which means he's averaging about 4 yards per carry, and he's in the zone, which is not good for the Mountain West Saints. But yeah, this is where it all ends. This is where the journey ends for the Mountain West Saints. They fought back. They almost came back in this 4th quarter, but it was too little, too late for the Mountain West Saints. And you have 2 players that are superstars. They had too many great players, and it's just I think this is just the logical ending point for the Mountain West Saints coming in the future. I mean, do you think that the Mountain West Saints have enough talent to beat the Big Ten? I mean, likely not. Maybe in future years, maybe they can build up. But Josh Allen, I think he'll get better. He'll be in the 90s next year, but quarterbacks can't carry a team, and I feel like this is about the best. This is about where we're going to get talent-wise every year. Saquon Barkley gets another 7 yards on the ground, and he's going to get some pumped-up stats here. 1st and 10. Josh Allen is unfortunately going to be sent home. He's arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the entire NFL, but Tom Brady, the GOAT, although I feel like, as a Saints fan, I would argue that Drew Brees is the GOAT, but this is weirdly enough going to be Drew Brees' last year in the game, which is going to be interesting if you're talking about the Big Ten fans. 3rd-string quarterbacks, which I understand 3rd-string quarterbacks almost never appear. They really don't. I mean, I've only seen one backup quarterback ever appear in a game, and that was the Big 12 when Patrick Mahomes went down and Baker Mayfield took over. But 3rd-string quarterbacks almost never appear. But, big hole for Saquon Barkley. He's going to get it all the way down to the 4-yard line. 134 yards on the ground. He's pumping up his stats near the end. He might get a rushing touchdown again here. 1st and goal at the 4-yard line. And yeah, you can hear the stadium. It's a rocking here. The Big Ten Titans are absolutely pumped. They're going to be moving on to the conference round. Again, Big Ten Titans have they have Super Bowl aspirations. They have goals they want to achieve. They want to get to the Super Bowl. I think they expect it. I think they expect to win the Super Bowl this year. So, yeah, that's not what Mountain West. That's not what the Mountain West considers a successful season. They were hoping to get over the hump. They've gotten here 3 straight years, just never been able to overcome the Big Ten, really. They got the SEC last year, and they weren't able to overcome that. But they played the Big Ten twice, and both times the Big Ten was able to beat them. So they've had some trouble getting over that hump of the Big Ten, and it's going to continue this year. Maybe next year with the better Josh Allen. But I don't feel like any of these other players are going to get better. I feel like DeMarcus Lawrence and Shaq Barrett's overalls might go down. Oh, an injury for Brandon Sheriff, though. And that could be huge if he doesn't see the field in the last 2 minutes and 38 seconds left. That could be significant. 68. I will be watching for number 68 for the rest of this game. And if he does not see the field again, I got to roll a die. I got to do the same thing with the Independents coming up. And it's going to determine how long he'll be out. And Brandon Sheriff is an important part of this team. So losing him would be pretty significant. If in the long-term scheme of things, not having Brandon Sheriff when you're facing, is 68 back on the field? It looks like there's a 60 number. Oh, but that looks like the center, so I don't know. Actually, they went read option with Tom Brady, which is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. 4th and goal. They're likely going to kick this field goal. And if Brandon Sheriff doesn't see the field again, I'd like to say, though, Brandon Sheriff doesn't see that field, it's going to be interesting because you're going to have to face, likely, if we're talking about the lowest seed, let's say the lowest seed is the FCS Division II, Division III. Let's say they make it past the Pac-12 or the Pac-12 beats them. They're going to go field goal here. I think they're going to take it to the 2-minute warning for it first. They do take it to the 2-minute warning. But let's say you play the Pac-12 or the FCS Division II, Division III. They have good enough teams that if you lose Brandon Sheriff, that defensive line can get after you. It really can. And losing Brandon Sheriff would be a huge loss for this Big Ten Titans team. But Robbie Goldon to kick this. He kicks it. It's up. It's good. 21-point ball game. Minute 57 remaining. And it's all over. If you're the Mountain West Saints. 2 minutes remaining. 21-point deficit. As good as Josh Allen is, he is incapable of mounting that sort of comeback. It is too much with too little time. Sure, you have all 3 timeouts left, but let's see if they can make it a 14-point ball game. Let's just say it. Let's say it that. Hear me out here. It's impossible. Let me say that first. But if they get a long play, let's say they get a long play touchdown, big play to Davante Adams, that takes off maybe 10 seconds off the field. It's a minute 47. Turn up the middle by Rashad Penny gets about the 27-yard line. Let's say they do that, right? Minute 47 remaining, minute 44 remaining, right? They get an onside, okay? They get another quick touchdown. Let's say there's a minute remaining. And it's a 7-point game. So they could go for the onside again. If they don't get it, they could already try using all 3 timeouts and having Josh Allen lead them on a miracle drive. Now, it would take basically a miracle, but it's technically possible. You understand what I'm saying? It would take basically a miracle, though. Looks like a 3-man rush here by the Big Ten Titans. They go a little screen pass underneath. He's going to get out of bounds. Only using about 7 seconds there, getting 9 yards. But, yeah, 9 yards is not going to win you this ball game. If you get 9 yards every time, I think the Big Ten Titans are going to give it to you. I think they'll give you 9 yards for 7 seconds every time. Because you drive into the field and you're giving up 7 seconds every time, you get 9 yards. it's not going to work out for you. Empty set for Josh Allen here. They bring a little bit of a blitz. He fires it to an open Rashad Higgins. He doesn't drop it this time. Gets to the 50-yard line. I'd use my timeouts because honestly, when else are you going to use your timeouts? I wouldn't huddle. That's for freaking sure. But you know, the computer's pretty dumb. So a minute and a half remaining. Why not huddle it up when you're down by 21 points? So Josh Allen goes shotgun here. 3-man rush. He has a decent amount of time to scan the field and find it, and just goes underneath to Rashad Higgins. So, yeah, why aren't you using your timeouts is my primary question. Yeah, it's just, again, I that was the conceivable comeback, but now that they've used almost a minute here coming up, yeah, I don't see this comeback happening. They go play action here. He fires it to an open Davante Adams. So that stops the clock. It's about 10 yards. I think the goal is just to cut it to a 14-point ball game. I don't think you can score 21 points in 57 seconds. I just don't think it's physically possible. Even if you do score here, I don't see you being able to do that. But empty set here for Josh Allen. They are within striking distance of the end zone, so maybe they go deep past to Davante Adams. Who knows? They bring a little bit of a blitz here. Fires it underneath for Rashad Higgins. I feel like I'd give up that every day of the week. A tackle in bounds for 7 yards. Clock still moving. I feel like I'd give that up if I'm the Big Ten Titans. And I feel like I would have to use my timeouts if I'm the Mountain West Saints. But, you know, they don't feel that need. They don't feel that urgency, considering it's almost 30 seconds. They fire it underneath Jacob Hollister, who picks up about, 3 yards. You've yet to take a timeout. There's 20 seconds remaining. When are you using these timeouts? But I guess they've just given up on the ball game, and I think it's fair. The Big Ten Titans are going to be moving on to the conference championship. So Josh Allen goes empty set here. 10 seconds remaining. They're just hoping to make this a 14-point ball game. Fires it to the end zone. It's caught, but they're not going to use a timeout, which means that the clock is going. Actually, it's not caught. Never mind. It's incomplete. I thought it was caught. It wasn't caught. 4th and inches. You got to go to the end zone with 5 seconds left. Maybe you can make it a 14-point ball game. Maybe you can make it a little bit. Yeah, Michael Gallup dropped that pass. That was a beautiful pass by Josh Allen. You know what else I didn't notice? They didn't go deep at all. They really didn't. They didn't try a deep pass. They didn't try and go deep, which I think was a mistake. But looks like a 3-man rush here. You're going to go kind of like a Hail Mary, although you could just not go Hail Mary. Just kind of, I guess kind of it's a Hail Mary, but it's very much within range. Fires it to the end zone. It's going to be bounced around. It's going to be incomplete. That's going to be the end of the game. And the Big Ten Titans will be moving on. The Mountain West Saints made it scary there for a little bit in the third quarter, but the fourth quarter, the Big Ten Titans ran away with it. Tom Brady's giving props to the camera. Casey Hayward's shaking hands. Josh Allen's a little bit upset, but it's to be reasonable. They thought that they were close, and then they got blown out in the leg. And they're taking pictures with Tom Brady. And nice sportsmanship here by the end of the game. I understand that it was a closely fought game, but yeah, it's just what happens when you score 10-3 in the third quarter or the fourth quarter if you're the Titans. But yeah, it was interesting and great. It was a great play. The defense played extremely well in that third quarter, but just wasn't able to compete that. Yeah, they're showing that highlight, and it was overturned. So, I mean, there's no point in that highlight anymore. But the Big Ten Titans will be moving on. They'll be watching the rest of the season, the rest of these games to see who they will be facing. But they will likely be facing, I'll say, one of 3 teams: the Big 12, the FCS Division II, Division III, or the Pac-12. But hey, everybody, this is GGB, co-host Bob Burr, saying adios amigos. See you tomorrow.